These are the 5 worst losses that Richmond fans have had to endure in the 21st century. Waleed, I feel being a football fan is a very emotional thing, whereas Richmond fans tend to experience higher and lower emotions compared to other clubs.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. And for that reason, this was a very difficult thing to do. This was kind of most weeks for a lot of the 21st century. And I've tried to go for a range of beltings and heartbreakers in other sorts of ways. But no Richmond fans will be able to agree. No 2 Richmond fans could agree on the 5 because there are just so many options. It's a real issue.
You guys were very funny for a long time.
Yeah,
I'm really sad it ended.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Richmond versus Essendon, round 17, 2000.
Oh, a long time.
Huge game at the MCG.
Okay.
Massive. I don't know how big the crowd was, but it would have been 70, 80,000 people. Richmond were they improved dramatically from 1999. Danny Frawley was in charge. We were on the cusp of the 8. This could be the thing. This is the moment. And we're playing the best team I've ever seen in a single season.
Unstoppable Bombers.
But I felt something. This was it. We could actually pull this off. And I remember I brought mates along from uni who'd never seen a football match before. I was like, this is the one. Come see the MCG at its best. Come see 2 mighty tribes. My brother texted me just before the game, just with 3-word text. We will win. He's got the feeling. When you've got the feeling, you know what's going to happen.
This is so classic Richmond. All you need is any sort of omen, and you guys are suddenly getting premiership tattoos.
Yes. We lost by 101 points. And can I say, that day, we kicked 10-6. We kicked well. Our conversion rate was better than theirs. The scoreboard flattered us. And the thing is, sometimes you have a 100-point loss where you're in it for a quarter? No. This was over from the very beginning. My mate from uni went home about halfway through the second quarter and said, no action.
Wow.
And just left.
You that's an excuse for you to leave as well.
No, I've got a rule, you can't leave.
Really?
You have to stay to the end. That was a hard one. But by no means the hardest.
And you don't drink. See, I never leave, but I go to the bar.
Right, that's an option that you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4.
Round 9, 2017, GWS versus Richmond. A premiership year, and yet one of our worst losses. Not a blowout, in fact the exact opposite. In the very depths of the last quarter, having somehow marshalled ourselves into a position where we're in touch with this superhero team, GWS, stacked with stars.
I think you could say they were flag favourites at
Possibly
that point.
at that point. And might be one of the most talented collections of footballers we've seen, actually.
That you can definitely say, yes.
And we were in touch with them away. Shea Bolton, having never kicked a goal in the AFL, picks up the ball close to goal, probably just outside the goal square, snaps over his shoulder. Incredible goal. The umpire does this. We're celebrating. Right. We're back to
They run back to the square.
Everyone's ready to go. We're having a great time. What a way to kick your debut goal. He's won it for the Tigers. And then the score review. And can I point out, the score review was a relatively new thing at this time. This was a point in time where to lose a goal to the score review still felt like an injustice. Now it happens, you go, well, I guess that's what happens. Right?
Yeah.
This was not like that. This was like, I cannot believe they've done that. So they take the goal off us. We're still...
Okay, but you're still ahead, aren't you?
We're in front. Yeah, we're in front. Should be fine.
How long to go?
Oh, I don't know. What would it be? Maybe 30 seconds?
Okay.
Something like that?
Sure.
Can't remember exactly, but anyway, it felt like 4 years because the kicking comes straight up the guts.
Yes.
Contest in the centre square, out the back to Jeremy Cameron, who can kick a goal, and that's what he does.
Oh.
And I remember Dwayne Russell's call. Double deja vu. Why double deja vu? Because the previous week, we had lost to the Fremantle Dockers from in front in the last seconds of the game with a clearance out of the centre that Mundy marked and goaled after the siren. We lost by a point. Oh, that's right. And GWS had won by a point or something similar the previous week. We had both managed to recapitulate the very best and worst of being football fans in the roles that we were just born to play. It was horrible.
Number 3.
Sydney versus Richmond, round 23, 2016.
Yeah.
Almost nothing good happened in 2016. Well, I'm just talking about football.
I know, I'm a big fan of Brexit and Trump and Chicago Cubs. Actually, that one's good.
Yeah, that was good. Cronulla beat the Storm. I wasn't happy about that either. It was the last round of a horrible year for Richmond. We finished 13th. It was famously documented. But we lost that game 113 points. And it's such a terrible game because the details are irrelevant. We were never in it, all that sort of stuff. Okay, that's fine. But it encapsulated the completely irretrievable nadir of Richmond's existence. It was like they are so far from doing anything that will be worth watching that just come back in a decade or two when everything's been reset and maybe you'll see them win a game. It is hard to say. I mean, Sydney are a good side, all that, but it is hard to say just how depressing that moment was. It was all over. Not just that game, that season. Football was all over for a Richmond fan. Anyway, it turns out 2017 was all right.
Why didn't you sack the coach after that?
That's a really good question. You know what? Because we're a real club that makes sensible decisions, and always has made sensible decisions.
That's number 2.
Round 6, 2007, Richmond versus Geelong. We lost that game by 157 points. Do you need anything else? Is that enough?
Well, wasn't Brad Ottens, your former ruckman, dominating against you as well?
I don't think that is relevant to the conversation.
Well, but the Cats were so unstoppable in 2007.
Okay, so here's the thing. Do you know what Geelong did the previous week?
I do, because you told me.
Yeah. They lost to North Melbourne at Kardinia Park. And I remember going into this game, and it was crisis. That was one of the moments where it was like, this Geelong team is meant to be good. When are they going to come good? What the hell is Bomber Thompson? That was the conversation. And I remember coming into this game going, look, we'll always be underdogs. We never beat Geelong, but we've got to be a chance.
Yeah.
We've got to be. We were not a chance. And I remember sitting there at half-time.
How far down are you?
We were down by more than 100 points at half-time.
Oh.
So in other words, the second half, we came good. We came home strong in that second half. Anyway, Geelong were rubbish up until that moment. And we all know how it turned out.
You played them into a dynasty.
Well, what I'm saying is Richmond been part of 2 dynasties in this century. And I don't think we receive enough credit for that.
And the number 1 worst loss for the Richmond Football Club of the 21st century is?
Round 16, 2012. Gold Coast versus Richmond.
So I shouldn't laugh. You've come on my show, and I'm very grateful that you've come on. You're a dear friend. But God, this was
Shut
funny.
up, Danny.
It was so funny.
Shut up. This was Richmond versus Gold Coast.
That's your home game.
We were playing in Cairns, and it was our home game because it was a great idea to sell our home game to Cairns. Actually, in the end, it probably was. We made money.
Financially, it would have been. Yep.
But this was otherwise known as the Carmichael Hunt game. I don't need to say any more than that. You know this game. Because just about every Richmond fan has been teased by, not by Gold Coast fans, there are none of them.
That's true.
By other clubs' fans who think this is the funniest thing that, well...
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, to have a rugby league player kick a goal after the siren to win the game, to sink, not just, and this is the thing people often forget, they didn't just sink us that night. They sunk our final hopes.
Oh, really?
We were a decent team in 2012. Like Dustin Martin was coming through. Was that the year Koch's Brown line? I think that is.
Well, it is now. Yeah. Retrospective.
We had some decent players playing some decent football. We had some really good performances. We lost a lot of close games. This was one of those. But it shouldn't be in the list of losses, of close losses that turned your season, because we should never have been in that situation. Gold Coast were terrible. They were absolutely terrible. And somehow we conspired to be worse. And we were worse all night. And I will say this may not be a popular view. In the end, I wasn't angry. I was just disappointed. Because as devastating as it was to lose that game, I remember when Carmichael Hunt lined up to take that shot, I no longer cared about whether or not that ball was going to go through. Do you know that feeling? Do you ever have that where it's like, no, we don't deserve...
Yes. There's not much worse feelings in footy.
Yeah.
Where the passion is gone. It's like how the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. and I was indifferent that day. It's also why I wasn't angry about selling the games to Cairns in the end, because it was like, if you can't beat Gold Coast up there, where Carmichael Hunt is the goal kicking threat, what are you doing in the finals?
And that's the list. Did Waleed get it right? Let us know in the comments. And if you'd like to nominate any other prominent footy fans that I should talk to about their losses, let me know. Also, comments. You like, subscribe, all that crap that YouTubers say. I feel dirty.